Storytime. Fast food revival. I don't even know if I'm going to put this one up here, but let's do it anyway. So, I mentioned before that I used to be a bit of a player. My best time to get them broken up, because I was that vindictive little dude back in high school, and so I was known as the girlfriend stealer. True story. My best time was 1 week to get them broken up, 1 week to get with her. And of course, I never really pursued any of that, seriously. It was more just me being vindictive. And then it got boring. And so I decided I'm going to be a player. Now, keep in mind, I never sealed the deal on these. I just had the capability to. Because I'm still shy. I was still very self-conscious about my body, even though I looked good. But my best time was from order to picking up the food to get the number and to secure meeting up that night at 8 o'clock. That was my best time when they got off work. No, it was later than that. It was 10 o'clock. Yeah, that's right. She was working at Taco Bell. All right. Dollar Tree, that was an actual fair. That lasted for, I don't know, a couple months. But I think the most unique was she's over there in her green Mustang chomping on a burrito. And I'm over here like, all right, you look good. Like her mouth is full of burrito. Like she's just hungry. She's just chilling. And here I am, flagging her across the way like, hey, this, that, and the other. I give her my digits with my hand. And I forget, one of them was a 6, one of them was an 8, so I had to use both hands. We were both parked. She shoots me a text. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, that was a interesting night. It was literally no. It was one of 2 one-night stands. Yeah, I had two. The other one, I was like 15. This time, I was 25, I think. Might have been 23. But as a neurodivergent, I'm convinced that we feel about as much pleasure as women do when it comes to coitus. And so, yeah, I was actively pursuing that aspect of my life because I was confused companionship with physical intimacy. That's all I knew. Didn't exactly have parents teaching me. That was back when you actually had the PSAs on TV saying, have the talk with your child. Don't let them go on their own. Well, we're going to figure it out, though. But yeah, about that time, in fact, it was the second one-night stand with the lady with the Mustang, and fresh surgical work. So, yeah, we end up doing our thing, and I'm like, you know what? That was too easy, because I like a challenge. So what I do, I decide I am not going to lie anymore. Now, that took a couple years to solidify, but I got to the point where I didn't lie in relationships anymore. Every time, and I'm going to use the word conquest, every time I achieved a conquest, I felt bad about it. Like it felt empty, it felt dry. Kind of like what people say in the books, and in the stories, and in the colloquial. But yeah, I eventually got to the point where I want more in the relationship. Not just from it, but in it. I wanted a true companion. I wanted that ride or die, that Bonnie or Clyde. And I still do. I very much value, like, don't get me wrong, I've always appreciated the female form. But it's when you see the silent fire behind their eyes. You see the passion. You see the, I hate to say anger. And I hate the fact that some of them actually really looked cute when they were frustrated. Like, oh, let me give you some kisses. Like, seriously, I turn into that person. But I've always loved the subtle grace of femininity. I always have. And as much as I have a command of the English language, I mean, I'm still limited in what I'm trying to describe. I say the subtle fire. I say the internal passion. You know, just that glint in the eye. For as many words in the English language and other languages as I know, I don't know how to explain what it is. I don't get it. Like, I get it. I know what I mean. I just don't know how to describe it. And I'm not going to jump over this while I have coffee. I need to get me some more bourbon barrel aged. But I'm going to go this way. And yes, we have 8 acres, but you can walk them as if they were like 24 because of all the different paths and leanings and all that. And all the frozen things up here. But there's a certain grace to women that, I don't know. It's always pulled me in. That's why I have female friends and all of that. There's a beauty to femininity. I don't know why I got into this topic, but apparently that's what wandering and talking does. But it's also the cure to being a player. It's recognizing what we value in the other. And you know what's funny is, my grandmother, she would be the equivalent to Mother Confessor or to Delenn, all of that. She's a special person. I mean, she sewed quilt tops for the homeless when we were living at Christ Lutheran Church. She was about to be a nun before me and my grandfather, who was thoroughly wicked. She always had a heart for other people, and at least once per year, if not twice, my brother and best friend Pep, he'll tell me the story of how Grandma said, "How do you say I love you in Spanish?" It's like, "Te amo." No. How do I say I love you like family? I love that woman. And I miss her every day. Her lessons stick with me. She's the reason I don't have a tattoo. Because she said don't. And she means so much to me, even 20 years later, that I still haven't. So I guess when I opened with being a player, that was very much a former life, but I never pulled the trigger. I sometimes pulled the trigger. But it's not what I value in women today. I mean, seriously, Grams was, like people say, you're attracted to people like your mother. Grams was my mom. She spent the time to teach me. She took the time. She was compassionate, kind, caring. I mean, what other type of woman would think about becoming a literal nun? In fact, I thought about being a literal monk at one point. Try to imagine that one.